I found your old sweater behind the closet door. I held it for a moment, then I didn't anymore. Funny how a piece of fabric can carry so much pain. 1,000 little memories, 1,000 drops of rain. I used to wear your absence like a shadow on my skin. I kept searching for the person I was before you came in. You didn't steal my happiness, you didn't take my soul. I gave away those pieces, trying to make us whole. I spent years looking for you inside the broken parts of me you left behind inside of me. I almost couldn't find the girl who laughed at sunrise, the girl who dreamed at night. I buried her beneath the tears, I hid her underneath the pain. I thought losing you meant losing everything, but I was wrong again. You were a chapter, not the whole story. You were a storm, not my destiny. And the side of me you left behind is finally coming back to me. The house is getting quieter, but it doesn't feel the same. The silence isn't hurting like it used to say your name. I stopped checking the doorway, I stopped waiting for a sign. I stopped blaming my reflection for a love that wasn't mine. I gave you all my patience, I gave you all my grace. I kept forgiving moments that kept breaking me in place. I thought if I loved harder, you would finally see. But some people only take the light, they never help you breathe. You left behind a side of me that I thought was gone forever, the part that still believed life could become better. She was hiding in the darkness, waiting for the day when I stopped chasing your shadow and walked my own way. Tonight I open windows, let the cold air come inside. Let it carry all the memories I don't need to hide. I forgive the girl who stayed there when she should have walked away. She was only trying to survive, the only way she knew that day. You left behind a side of me that became stronger than before, a heart that knows its value, a soul that knows its worth. The road ahead is lonely, but at least it's finally mine. I'm not searching for tomorrow inside somebody else's life. I thought you took something from me, but you only uncovered the part of myself I forgot was there. storm came through our bedroom and left without a sound. It took away the laughter and left the pieces on the ground. Your shoes are by the doorway, but your heart has gone somewhere. Funny how someone can vanish while still leaving things there. The walls don't know the difference between love and pain. They only hold the memories that keep falling like rain. I used to fear the thunder, I used to fear the night. Now I fear the quiet moments when everything feels alright. Because after the storm, you finally hear what was broken all along. I'm living in the silence after your storm, learning how to breathe again without keeping you warm. You were the fire that burned me alive. I called it love just to survive. Now the ashes are settling, the sky's turning blue, and I'm finally understanding I was losing me to you. The hallway feels much longer without your angry words. The house feels strangely peaceful, but the peace still kind of hurts. I miss the good mornings, I miss the way you smiled. I don't miss the nights when I cried like a child. I carried all your sadness like it belonged to me. I became your shelter while I was drowning underneath. I thought being needed meant that I was loved. I didn't know a heart could break from giving too much. I'm living in the silence after your storm. The rain stopped falling, but I'm still learning the warmth. I don't need your apology, I don't need your regret. I just need to remember I'm more than what you left. Maybe the empty spaces are not empty at all. Maybe they're the places where I rebuild it all. Maybe the quiet mornings are not lonely anymore. Maybe my own heartbeat is what I was waiting for. I'm living in the silence, and I finally hear my voice. Not the one that begged for love, the one that makes a choice. The storm can keep the memories, the rain can keep your name, but I won't build another home inside somebody else's pain. I thought the silence was empty, but it was the first place I finally found myself. Nobody saw the mornings when I couldn't get out of bed. Nobody heard the battles inside my own head. Nobody saw the tears I wiped away alone. Nobody knew the nights I spent trying to come home. I smiled through the questions, I answered that I was fine, while pieces of my heart were falling all the time. I became an expert at hiding what I felt, a stranger to the world, a stranger to myself. The strongest healing often happens when nobody can see. And nobody saw me putting myself back together, picking up the pieces, one broken piece at a time. Nobody saw me learning how to breathe again, finding little pieces of the person left behind. I wasn't falling apart, I was rebuilding, I wasn't disappearing, I was becoming. The piano cries softly like rain on a window. The pedal steel remembers every place my heart broke. The acoustic guitar whispers a song from the dark about a woman protecting a forgotten spark. The old memories visit when the night gets cold, but they don't control me like they did before. Depression was a heavy ocean I thought I couldn't cross, but I found a quiet strength inside everything I lost. Nobody heard the silence, but my heart heard every word. Nobody saw me putting myself together. Nobody saw the courage hidden underneath the hurt. Nobody saw me choosing life over the darkness, choosing my own heartbeat over everything that hurt. I don't need everyone to understand my scars. I don't need everyone to know how far I've come. I know the nights I survived, I know the battles I won, I know the woman in the mirror, and I know what she's done. Nobody saw me become who I am now. Nobody saw the tears that taught me how. I am not the damage, I am not the pain, I am the quiet sunrise after endless rain. The felt piano fades, the felt piano fades, the felt piano fades, but I was there every single night, putting myself back together. Nobody saw me building. The first goodbye was only for an evening. I watched your taillights disappear like tiny stars. I told myself tomorrow would be different. Hope was still warm enough to hide the cold. The second goodbye lasted through the winter. The third one stayed beneath my skin. After that, I stopped counting endings. I only counted what they took with them. No one noticed how much of me stayed behind. I left pieces of me in every goodbye. A little more laughter, a little more light, a little more courage to speak my mind. Until one morning I looked into the mirror and found a woman, trying to remember her own eyes. You walked away once, I disappeared 100 quiet times. The piano breathes like a church after midnight. The steel guitar leans into the empty sky. Rain taps softly on the porch roof, counting hours neither of us can return. I still fold the blanket on your side of the bed, not because I expect you, because my hands remember before my heart does. Depression hangs like smoke after a fire. The flames are gone, the air still burns. Sometimes memory feels heavier than the truth. I left pieces of me in every apology. Every time I called my silence peace. Every time I believed love meant becoming smaller. Now I'm gathering fragments from old songs, old roads, old dreams, trying to build a whole heart out of broken echoes. If I ever become whole again, it won't be because the pain disappeared. It will be because I finally stopped giving away the parts of me that deserve to stay. Tonight I found one small piece hidden inside an old melody. It remembered how my laughter sounded, not perfectly, not completely, just enough to make the darkness feel less endless. I'll keep searching. One memory, one sunrise, one heartbeat, at a time. The pieces of me. Somewhere I forgot my own name. Somewhere between your I love you and your you're too much. I packed away my laughter without noticing. I stopped opening the curtains. I stopped calling back my friends. I made my world small enough to fit inside your moods. Every apology sounded more like mine, even when the mistakes were never mine to keep. By the end, I could describe your sadness better than my own. How quietly a heart can disappear. Somewhere I forgot my own name. Inside the echo of yours, every memory wears your shadow. Every hallway knows your footsteps. I still wait before sunrise, waiting for a text that never comes. Not because I need you, but because my heart forgot the difference between hope and habit. The piano breathes like an old house settling. The steel guitar bends like tired branches in winter dust dances. Where sunlight used to live, even the flowers have forgotten how to bloom. Depression sits at the end of my bed, never speaking, never leaving, only watching as another day passes quietly. The hardest chains were invisible. Somewhere I forgot my own name. Trying to remember yours, I memorized every silence, every cold goodbye, every look that made me question whether I deserved to be loved. Now I look into mirrors like they belong to someone else. If I could gather every version of myself that I abandoned to keep us together, there would be enough women to fill this empty house, each one carrying a different goodbye, each one waiting to finally rest. Maybe tomorrow I'll remember the sound of my own laughter. Maybe next winter the flowers will bloom again. But tonight I'm too tired to chase another memory, so I'll close my eyes and let the rain remember me pedal steel answers like a voice across an empty field. The guitar becomes only fingertips on strings. Rain continues outside. A slow breath, then nothing. If you ask who I am, tell them I was still looking. Somewhere I forgot my own name. There's an old bridge west of nowhere, where the river bends its knees. The pain is long surrendered to the weight of broken dreams. We used to park there laughing, with the windows rolled halfway, talking like forever could never drift away. Now the water keeps on rising, like the tears I never cried, and every current carries another piece of goodbye. Some rivers never forget the rain. I never cross that bridge again. Too many ghosts waiting in the wind. Every wooden plank still calls my name. Every echo says nothing changed. We crossed into tomorrow. I stayed behind the night, still searching for the woman who disappeared from sight. The river doesn't judge me, it only keeps its flow, teaching every broken thing how to let go. But I keep holding pebbles from the shoreline of our past, as if tiny pieces of yesterday could somehow last. A freight train moans softly beyond the sleeping trees. Its lonely whistle sounds like a prayer for me. The fog erases distance, but not what I became. Some roads lose their footprints, some hearts keep every stain. I never crossed that bridge again, not because I couldn't, because I knew the other side would never bring you back. The river kept moving, so did the sky. Only my heart forgot how to say goodbye. Maybe healing isn't crossing over. Maybe healing is standing still long enough to stop waiting for footsteps that aren't coming. Tonight the bridge can keep our story. The river can keep your name. The wind can carry every promise we can never save. I'll walk another road, though my hands still shake, because even broken hearts can choose a different way. A different way. A different way. I followed you through darkness, thinking that was love. Standing in your storms when I had none left to give. I learned your every silence, I memorized your pain. I knew when you were breaking before you knew my name. I became your reflection, I became your second skin. I forgot my own direction, trying to follow where you'd been. I was always right behind you, never asking where I stood. I was losing who I was, trying to prove I could. I thought being needed meant I was loved, but I was only disappearing so you could feel enough. There was the day I stopped being your shadow, stopped walking behind you through every broken road, stopped carrying your sadness like it belonged to me, stopped begging for a place where I was already unseen. You were the sun I chased until I learned I could shine. You were the world I lived in until I found my own sky. The day I stopped being your shadow was the day I came back alive. I remember the nights when I whispered to the ceiling, asking why my heart was always the one bleeding. I held on to your promises like they were sacred gold, but empty words get heavy when you carry them alone. I made excuses for your distance, I forgave every goodbye, I turned every warning sign into another reason to try. I thought love was patience, I thought pain meant deep, but love should not make you forget how to breathe. There was the day I stopped being your shadow, stopped chasing your footsteps down a road I didn't know, stopped asking for your attention, stopped fighting for your heart, because the hardest thing to accept was we were falling apart. To the girl who kept waiting underneath all that rain, you were never too broken, you were never to blame. You were just giving flowers to a garden that died. You were pouring your ocean into somebody else's tide. There was the day I stopped memories still remain, but they no longer own me. They no longer hold my name. You were a chapter, not the whole story. You were the darkness before my morning. I spent so long following your light, I forgot I was carrying my own. The screen door keeps on swinging, though nobody came home. The porch light burns for strangers since you left me here alone. There's dust upon your Bible, still open where you prayed. Funny how some promises can slowly decay. You smile like Sunday morning, soft enough to trust, and buried every dream I had beneath a cloud of dust. I kept calling it forever, even while it fell apart. You never broke the windows, you only broke my heart. You wore kindness like a perfect disguise. The devil learned my middle name. He whispered love, then lit the flame. I handed you the keys to everything. You handed back an empty ring. Now every prayer falls through the floor. I'm still knocking on a closed front door. The rain keeps washing tire tracks out along the road, like heaven's trying softly to lighten up the load. An old oak tree keeps standing where we carved our names. Its bark keeps growing over what time could never change. I hear coyotes calling across the open field. They sound like broken promises, refusing still to heal. Every lonely mile marker counts another sleepless night. Every dawn arrives too early for a heart afraid of light. The devil learned exactly how to make forever disappear somehow. He never stole the sky above, he simply changed what I call love. One day the porch light will burn for me, not for a truck that never returns. One day this old house will hear my laughter instead of echoes. Walking through the rafters tonight, the keep your voice. The rain can wash the dust away. The road can carry your shadow, but my soul won't follow. I'll leave your ghost out in the storm and learn how peace can sound after the lightning. You didn't steal my future. You only convinced me I didn't deserve one. Tonight, I stopped believing that lie. You never asked me to stay. You only made leaving hurt. You wrapped goodbye in kindness and buried me with your words. You'd hold me like forever, then disappear for days. I'd spend the nights apologizing for mistakes I never made. I learned to read your silence like it was holy truth. I forgot every part of me, trying to understand you. Love became a prison, and I carried the key without knowing it was never meant for me. The exit was always locked, even when the door was open. I kept running back to every promise broken. You became the habit I could never lose, like breathing in smoke. Just because I loved you, every memory cuts like fresh glass tonight. I'm still trying to escape the fire in my mind. 4 in the morning, the highway has no end. Street lights blur together like ghosts I call my friends. The moon watches quietly as tears stain the wheel. I don't know anymore what's memory or what's real. My heart is so exhausted, it forgot how to fight. Depression wears my shadow every single night. Even when you're absent, your voice still fills the room, like love left its body but never left the home. The exit was always locked inside my chest. I kept believing one more chance was best. You kissed my broken pieces, then broke them all again. Now I count the miles instead of counting friends. If I burned every letter, will the smoke forget your name? If I drive until sunrise, will tomorrow feel the same? If healing is real, why does it hurt this much? Why do I still miss the hands that hurt? stop letting you live within. I was too afraid to believe I could leave. I found an old photograph hidden inside a book. A girl with open windows and a fearless kind of look. She wasn't waiting for a message. She wasn't counting every word. She wasn't afraid of silence. She wasn't afraid of being heard. I stared at her for hours, trying to remember when she became someone who apologized for needing a friend. Funny how a person can disappear without leaving. The girl in the photograph is a stranger now. I know her face, but I don't know how to bring her back. She had a lighter heartbeat. She had a brighter sky before she learned to hide her tears and call it being fine. I miss her more than I miss you, and that's the hardest truth. The piano plays softly like a letter never sent. The steel guitar cries slowly for every night I spent trying to be perfect, trying to be enough, trying to turn broken pieces into something called love. The house is full of memories, but none of them feel warm. They are just little ghosts from before the storm. Depression sits beside me at the edge of my bed, filling empty spaces with everything unsaid. I don't want yesterday back. I just want the girl I lost. The girl in the photograph still looks at me like she knows the person I was the deepest pain, but losing myself was the real goodbye. Maybe one day I'll take that photograph off the shelf, not to remember who I used to be, but to remind myself that somewhere inside, that girl is still breathing, still waiting, still mine. The girl in the photograph isn't gone forever. She's just buried beneath too many winters, too many storms. Tonight I whisper through the darkness, I remember you. And for the first time, she whispers back, I remember you too. The felt piano fades. I learned how to whisper when I wanted to scream. I learned how to vanish inside my own dreams. I covered my sadness with a smile on my face. I became a stranger in my own living space. I gave away my sunlight to brighten your sky. I forgot I was burning just to keep you alive. I held all the pieces of a love falling apart, while nobody noticed the cracks in my heart. The smallest flame can survive the longest night. There was a light I hid from the world, a forgotten heartbeat, a forgotten girl buried beneath sadness, buried beneath fear, waiting for the moment she would finally hear. I thought I was empty, I thought I was gone, but something inside me kept holding on. The piano cries softly, like rain after midnight. The pedal steel is calling through the fading light. The story from before, about the girl who stopped knocking on a locked heart. see a survivor, not a broken heart. Depression was a winter that covered everything, but even frozen gardens can remember spring. I wasn't losing myself, I was waiting to return. There was a light I hid from the world, a beautiful secret inside a hurt girl. I stopped chasing approval, I stopped needing proof, I started believing my own truth. Dear heart, I'm sorry I made you small. I'm sorry I thought you weren't enough at all. You carried me through storms, you carried me through pain. You were the quiet reason I survived the rain. Now the light is coming back slowly, not like a fire, more like a sunrise. I don't need to be perfect, I don't need to be new. I only need to remember the person I always knew. The felt piano, the felt piano fades into a quiet morning. The felt piano, the felt piano. The pedal steel cries, the pedal steel cries. One final beautiful note. The darkness becomes gentle, the heart becomes warm. I spent years hiding my light until I realized it was the only thing that kept me alive. I learned how to whisper when I wanted to scream. I learned how to vanish inside my own dreams. I covered my sadness with a smile on my face. I became a stranger in my own living space. I gave away my sunlight to brighten your sky. I forgot I was burning just to keep you alive. I held all the pieces of the life falling apart. Doesn't know me anymore. I stood in front of the mirror in the middle of the night, searching for a familiar face, searching for a little light. The eyes looking back at me stories I could feel, but I couldn't remember when they stopped being real. I used to love the little things, the way I used to laugh, the dreams I kept inside my heart, the future I imagined. Then I became somebody who only knew your world, and somewhere in the loving I lost my own little girl. I don't miss who I was before, I miss knowing who I am. The mirror doesn't know me anymore, the reflection feels so far. I don't recognize the woman carrying all these scars. I gave away my colors, I gave away my name. I became someone different, trying to keep you the same. But underneath the sadness, underneath the pain, there is still a heartbeat calling my name. Calling my name. The piano cries softly like rain across the glass. The acoustic guitar remembers every moment that has passed. Your sweater is still hanging, your shadow's in the room, but the silence after losing you made space for something new. I don't need to hate you, I don't need to forget. Some people leave forever, but they leave lessons too. You showed me how deeply a heart can learn to love. Now I'm learning slowly how to give myself enough. The mirror doesn't know me anymore, but I'm starting to explain. This is the face of someone who survived the rain. Not broken, not empty, not someone left behind, just a woman rebuilding the pieces of her mind. I touch the glass softly, I whisper, I'm still here. I know I lost myself, but I survived the years. The girl I thought was gone was waiting underneath. She never stopped believing, she was still a part of me. I lost a dream before, but I found the person standing behind the door. Standing behind the door. I thought I lost my reflection, I was only waiting to see myself again. dashboard softly glows. The road keeps stretching farther than anybody knows. The tires hum a lonely hymn across the faded lines, like they're carrying a secret I've carried all this time. I traded all my laughter for one more chance with you. I kept believing broken things could somehow become true. Now every mile behind me feels exactly like the last. A woman made of memories, driving through the past. The sunrise keeps arriving, but my heart stays after midnight. The night never lets me leave. It keeps your voice alive. Every lonely highway knows the way I cry. I keep chasing taillights that disappeared years ago, still talking to your shadow like it already knows. I'm breathing, but I'm barely here, living inside echoes you'll never hear. The motel sign keeps blinking, like it's trying not to die. Its broken little heartbeat matches mine tonight. The coffee tastes like silence, the window tastes like rain. I wear your memory like a coat stitched out of pain. People say I'm healing because I smile again. They don't see the earthquakes hidden underneath my skin. Every conversation ends before it starts, because nobody can hear a whisper from a broken heart. The night never lets me leave. It keeps calling out your name. Every empty streetlight looks exactly the same. I escaped your house, but not the way you stayed. You built a home inside my fears and quietly walked away. I don't remember the sound of peaceful sleep. I only know the promises I keep. One more mile, one more song, one more night, trying to be strong. Maybe healing isn't loud at all. Maybe it's simply answering your memory with silence. The night still knows my story, but it doesn't own my soul. The road may never end, but I can still let go. I'll carry every scar without carrying your chains. I'll meet the morning slowly, even if it rains. And if the dawn is waiting beyond this endless blue, maybe the first light is learning how to live without you. The night kept asking me, was still looking back, I finally whispered, because I forgot how to look ahead. I used to sing in the kitchen with the windows open wide. I used to talk about my dreams. I used to never hide. And slowly I got quieter, and slowly I changed. I started choosing your happiness over my own name. I learned all your favorite answers, I learned all your favorite songs, but I forgot the little voice that told me I belonged. I swallowed every feeling, I buried every truth, until I couldn't hear myself underneath my love for you. I didn't lose my voice, it was just waiting. That was the voice I buried under your love, the one that kept on calling when I felt like giving up. She said you were still somebody, you were still alive. You don't need to disappear to keep someone by your side. Now I'm listening again, now I'm learning to breathe, finding the woman I forgot was me. Piano cries softly, like rain after the storm. The acoustic guitar whispers about the girl before. I see her in the mirror, I see her in my eyes, the girl who had a future before she said goodbye. Spend forever trying to prove my worth. The heart that I protected was the heart I should have loved first. That was the voice I buried under your love, but she's getting louder than the pain I carried up. She remembers my remembers my dreams. She reminds me who I was before I lost everything. Little voice inside me, I hear you now. I know you were tired, I know you broke down, but you kept a small fire burning through the night. You were the reason I survived the fight. That is the voice I will never lose again. voice. Trying to keep your love. Now I use it to find myself. This house remembers everything. It never learned to forget. The wallpaper keeps your shadow like smoke that hasn't left. The hallway holds our footsteps. The windows know our cries. Even broken picture frames still refuse to close their eyes. There's a crack above the doorway from the night we slammed it shut. Funny how old houses can still remember love. The dust lies on the table like snow that never melts. Every room keeps holding the pieces of myself. Some homes keep families, some keep ghosts. The walls learned how to whisper after you were gone. They repeat the words I carried for too long. Maybe it's your fault, maybe you're too much. Those lies still echo every time I touch. The silence in this room where my heart came undone. Even empty houses can outlive someone. The kitchen clock keeps ticking like it never missed a beat. But every hour sounds heavier than the last one did to me. A cracked ceramic coffee cup still waits beside the sink, like it's expecting both our hands before it dares to drink. The bedroom curtain dances with every passing breeze. Sometimes I almost answer when the wind says my name. Not because I think you're coming, I know that story's through. It's just hard to teach a lonely heart what it already knew. The walls learned how to whisper, I learned how to hide. Smiling through the daylight, breaking every night. You never had to haunt me, you already moved inside. Now every quiet heartbeat feels occupied. Tonight I opened every window and let the storm come through. The rain can't wash the memories, but it can change the room. Maybe healing isn't silence, maybe it's the sound of old echoes finally losing their way. Tomorrow these walls will hear a different song. Not because the sorrow suddenly is gone, but because my voice is louder than your ghost. And this old house Walls never trapped me, the silence did tonight. I leave the silence outside. I carried your goodbye like a suitcase full of stones, dragged it through the daylight, dragged it through the cold. Nobody saw the way, nobody saw me bend. I smiled like I was healing while breaking underneath. I kept your old letters inside a wooden drawer, like words from a stranger could bring back what we were. I blame the empty spaces, I blame the passing years, but the hardest thing to carry was everything I feared. I thought letting go meant losing you, but holding on was losing me. This is the weight of your goodbye, the burden I carried alone, the love that turned into a shadow, the place I no longer call home. I held all your broken pieces while mine fell apart. I gave you my whole world and abandoned my heart. Now I'm laying down the memories one by one tonight, learning that a heavy heart can still learn how to fly. There were nights I couldn't sleep because silence felt too loud. I heard your voice in empty rooms, even when you weren't around. I searched for explanations for every little scar, trying to understand how we ended where we are. I thought I needed answers, I thought I needed proof, but sometimes closure comes when you finally choose you. I stopped chasing apologies, I stopped asking why, I stopped trying to rebuild a love that chose goodbye. This is the weight of your goodbye, but my hands are letting go. The road ahead is uncertain, but at least it is my own. You were the storm I survived, the rain I learned to face. The person I kept searching for was hiding in my own reflection. I forgive the heart that waited, I forgive the tears it cried, I forgive every moment I convinced myself I was fine. She was only trying to love the only way she knew. She didn't know the strongest thing was walking away from you. This is the way of your goodbye, and tonight it feels lighter. The darkness still surrounds me, but my soul is getting brighter. The house still holds memories, the walls still know your name, but I am not the woman who lives in portrayed your goodbye, until I forgot how to breathe. Then I put it down, and finally I found me. The winter came after you, and I thought I would freeze. I thought the empty mornings would be the end of me. Your side of the bed was colder, your name was everywhere, a ghost inside the hallway, a whisper in the air. I walked through all the rooms where we used to dream, finding little pieces of the person I used to be. I searched for you in memories, I searched for you in pain, until I found the truth. I was lost before you went away. The cold didn't destroy me, it showed me I could survive. This was the winter where I found myself underneath the ashes of the love I couldn't save. I thought I needed your fire to keep my heart alive, but I was my own sunrise, waiting through the night. You were the snowstorm that covered up my name, but every frozen morning slowly melted all the pain. Now the girl who disappeared is standing here again. The winter where I lost you was where I found my strength. I remember all the evenings when I sat beside the phone, feeling like a stranger inside my own home. I waited for your footsteps, I waited for a sign. I gave away my happiness to keep you by my side. I carried all your burdens like they belonged to me. I forgot that I was drowning while trying to help you breathe. I call my tears devotion, I call my silence love, but a heart can only empty before it has enough. This was the winter where I learned to let go, where the quiet became healing, where my broken heart could grow. I don't hate the memories, I don't erase the past, I just stopped building forever with something that couldn't last. I found my voice in the silence, I found my soul in the cold, I found the girl I abandoned, trying to keep someone close. She was waiting in the darkness, she was waiting underneath. You are still here, you are still breathing. This was the winter where I found myself. The season that broke me became the season that held. The snow has started melting, the sky is turning blue, and the woman in the mirror finally feels true. You were a chapter, you were a storm passing through, but my life was never ending. with you. I thought winter took everything, but it only removed everything that was keeping me from growing. There is a shadow in my bedroom, standing where I stand. She knows all my memories, she knows my favorite songs. But when I look into her eyes, something feels unknown, like she took my broken pieces and carried them along. She wears my old sweater, she sleeps on my side. She carries all the secrets I buried deep inside. I ask her in the silence, where did the old me go? She whispers, she has been waiting longer than you know. I lost myself so slowly, I didn't hear me leave. She's a shadow wearing my name, a heart covered in rain, a person I recognize but cannot explain. She loved you so completely, she forgot how to love herself. She became a beautiful stranger, living as someone else. I lost you, but the hardest part to see, I lost the girl who used to be me. The piano cries softly, like a voice from far away. The acoustic guitar remembers all the things I couldn't say. I kept chasing forever, I kept holding on tight, but I was disappearing a little every night. The mirror tells the truth now, the silence lets me breathe. The person I was searching for was underneath me. Not perfect, not untouched, not the girl from before, but someone stronger, standing at the door. She's a shadow wearing my name, but she's learning to shine again. She's carrying the scars from where she has been. She doesn't need your love to know that she is real. She doesn't need your hands to know what she can feel. I forgive the shadow for hiding away. She was only surviving the best way she knew how to stay. I hold her gently, I call her back home. I tell her, you are not broken, you were never alone. No more shadows wearing my name, no more hiding from the rain. I am becoming someone I can finally explain. I lost a love story, I lost I thought I was gone, but I was only hiding, waiting for myself to come home. The snow came down in silence the night after you left, covered up the driveway, but not the things you wrecked. Your footprints by the doorway stayed longer than they should, like even winter understood I wasn't doing good. The porch light kept on glowing through every frozen night, waiting for a shadow that was never coming back. I kept the fire burning for someone who was gone, learning that a lonely heart can keep a house warm alone. Some goodbyes disappear, some leave a trail. The snow never covered your footprints away. They stayed in the yard like the words you didn't say. I watched every snowfall, hoping you'd fade, but some memories survive the coldest days. I don't miss the hurting, I don't miss the pain. I miss the girl I was before I learned your name. The winter clock keeps ticking inside this empty room. The flowers on the windowsill forgot how to bloom. I wear an old sweater that still smells like smoke from all the nights I spent trying not to break. The mirror tells a story I don't recognize, a woman with tired oceans hidden in her eyes. She says you made it through even when you felt alone. She says the heart can heal even after losing home. The snow never covered the road you took away, but I stopped standing frozen at the place you walked away. The storm can keep your memory, the wind can keep your voice, but I finally understand I still have a choice. Maybe love isn't measured by how much you can endure. Maybe staying broken was never the cure. Maybe the strongest hearts are not the ones that never fall. They're the ones that rise quietly after losing it all. The snow finally melted with the morning sun. The footprints disappeared like they were never one. breaking through. I waited for the snow to erase you, but it only showed me I was strong enough to survive the winter. There is a room inside this house where your memories still stay. I never opened that door, but they find me anyway. Your laughter on the staircase, your voice inside the walls, the way you used to promise you would never let me fall. I changed the sheets and curtains, I painted every room, but some things don't disappear, no matter what you do. I threw away the letters, I deleted your name, but the heart keeps a record of every kind of pain. I thought forgetting you would mean losing the past, but some ghosts only leave when you stop asking them to last. There's a room where your echo sleeps, a place I can't control, where every broken promise still feels alive and whole. You were the fire I ran toward, you were the you were the hand that held me while slowly letting go of my faith. Now I'm learning how to live with the silence that you leave. I'm closing every doorway that leads you back to me. The coffee cup is waiting on the same old wooden table. Funny how the smallest things can make a heart unstable. I still wake up reaching for a person who's not there, still searching through the darkness for a love that disappeared. I was addicted to the feeling of finally being chosen, even heavy, even when my heart was frozen. I called your strong devotion, I called your distance fate. I kept forgiving everything until I forgot my name. There's a room where your echo sleeps, but tonight I close the door. I don't need another memory to tell me what I'm worth. You were a chapter written with tears across the page, but I don't have to stay forever inside somebody else's cage. Maybe healing is not silence, maybe healing is a song. Maybe all these empty spaces were where I belong. Maybe the heart you damaged was stronger than you knew. Maybe every broken piece was becoming something new. There's a room where your echo sleeps, but it doesn't own my heart. The walls can keep the memories, but I can make a way home. I thought I was haunted by the memory of you, but I was only waiting to hear my own voice again. I walked into your ocean, thinking I could swim. I thought your deepest waters would let me breathe within. I followed every current, I followed every tide, never seeing the storm that was growing deep inside. I learned all your silence, I memorized your pain. I became your shelter, standing in your rain. But every time I saved you, a piece of me disappeared, until I couldn't recognize the person in the mirror. I was not drowning because I loved you, I was drowning because I forgot myself. You were the ocean I drowned myself in, the beautiful disaster I couldn't escape from. I gave you my heartbeat, I gave you my air, I gave you my everything. You were never really there. Now I'm standing on the shoreline, watching the waves roll away, learning that some waters were never meant to stay. You were the storm I thought I needed to survive, but I was the lighthouse waiting to come alive. I remember those nights when the world went quiet, when my own thoughts started a private riot. I held my phone tightly, waiting for your name, like one little message could erase all the pain. I made excuses for you, I defended his scars, while mine were getting deeper, hidden underneath my heart. I called it unconditional, I called it being true, but love should not require losing everything in you. You were the ocean I drowned myself in, the place where I lost me trying to find you again. But the waves are growing smaller, the sky is turning blue, and the girl you left behind is finally breaking through. Tonight I stand beside the water, but I don't step inside. I watch the waves, remember everything I survived. I forgive the girl who jumped in without knowing how deep she was, only searching for a love she could keep. You were the ocean I drowned myself in, but I found my way back through the darkness within. The scars are still there, the memories remain, but I am not the same woman who begged through the pain. You were the storm, you were the night, you were the darkness before my light. I thought I needed ocean to feel alive, but I was the one who carried the light. I packed up all my memories and carried them away, but something in my heartbeat still wanted me to stay. Not in your arms forever, not in the life we knew, but in the little pieces of the girl I lost with you. I left her by the doorway, I left her in our song, I left her in the moments where I tried to be strong. I thought I had to lose myself to prove that love was real. I didn't know my own heart was something I should feel. A part of me was waiting where I said goodbye. There was a part of me that stayed behind, a little piece of my soul I couldn't find. She was hiding in the memories, she was sleeping in the pain, waiting for the moment I would call her name. I don't need to go back, I don't need to rewind, I just need to bring home the part of me I left behind. The piano cries softly like a lonely falling rain. The acoustic guitar whispers through the echoes of my pain. Your picture sits quietly, your letters fade away, but the girl I thought was missing is returning here today. I can't forgive the loving, I can't forgive the tears, I can honor all the moments that carried me through years, but I will never again give away my soul for someone else's heartbeat to make me feel whole. There was a part of me that stayed behind, but I found her in the darkness at the edge of my mind. She was tired, she was hurting, she was waiting to be free. She was the last little piece of the woman inside me. I hold her like a memory, I hold her like a flame. I tell her I remember you, I remember your name. You were never forgotten, you were never gone. You were the quiet reason I kept moving on. I brought myself back home tonight, I opened every door, I found the heart I thought I lost, and I found something more. I lost the love we dreamed of, I lost the life we planned, but I found the missing part of me waiting for my you. But the part I was missing